you have a 24-hour shift, 7 days a week. That is correct.
Are they considering it now? Said about the temporary stay not being lifted and new execution?
Have been settled, then a new date would be.
Go on until 11:59 tomorrow night. If we don't have a definite answer by then, it's postponed.
That's true. That's correct.
Are you all standing by in anticipation of an
Most
answer?
definitely. We're on temporary hold now as far as the procedures that I gave you this afternoon at 4 o'clock, shaving of the head and so forth. But we will still remain here until we hear from the 11th Circuit. And the reason is because Judge Cox has called me and said the 11th Circuit will decide tonight. At that point, it will be back on the amount of time that it would take for us to shave the inmate's head, to go through the normal procedures once again for the execution. And at that,
They had planned? Or are they still here?
We don't know.
I don't have any idea where his family is.
You have rights were given?
Yes, there were. It's now out of his hands in the 11th Circuit. We do think that he does have some people over there.
Okay. Does have what, sir?
The question was, does it, if it is upheld? Yes, most definitely. That's what I said.
The information we just received out of Atlanta is the 11th Circuit has refused to dissolve at this point Judge Cox's stay. Mr. Graddick has some of his assistant AGs en route to Washington now to argue this before the Supreme Court. So we are still on hold.
Has there been a hearing date set or?
Nothing at this point.
Are we still on that 24-hour wait till 11?
Miss Stewart is an attorney with our department. Perhaps she can shed a little legal light on this.
I don't know where we are. We just have a telephonic report, not directly from the Attorney General's office, but from elsewhere, that is what the action that the Attorney General has taken. That he has sent some of the Assistant Attorney Generals up to Washington to try to have the 11th Circuit's decision overruled.
Will the decision by the 11th Circuit now go back to Judge Cox so he can make his decision?
There are basically two alternative positions there. There is the option to appeal to the United States Supreme Court. The other option is the case goes back to Judge Cox here in Mobile, and he will have the opportunity to rule on whatever legal issue it is that he sees in the case.
So the state
It
of
caused
Alabama
him to grant the stay.
has the state of Alabama taken the option to go to the Supreme Court?
We understand.
I'm not sure I understand what your question is.
You can't speak in terms of legality, but morally you can speak about the man. You know the man.
Yeah,
you say
yeah.
in his defense to stop his hitting.
I personally don't believe in the death penalty. I don't believe in it. I don't believe that it is a viable option for deterring crime. Now, I'm entitled to that opinion, same as anyone else is entitled to theirs. It's debatable at the moment, but I think that if you read through history, you'll find that there's quite a lot of proof that the death penalty has never solved the problem of murder. 153 electrocutions in Alabama between 1927 and 1965 about. It has not stopped murder. So that we haven't addressed the question, I don't think, in its proper frame in the modern society. But at the same time, while we do that, we should equally well address the question of the victims. So there are two questions here that have not been addressed in society today in the United States. We're one of the few Western countries that claim to be Christian that kill. Now, you know, it's judicial killing or whatever you want, but we do kill. I'm not saying that, you know, I want to pontificate on this, but I feel deeply about it. And I was born in Europe, as some of you know. I was born in Ireland, as if you don't know. And I have, you know, the World War II was horrible with the destruction of human life. And human life is sacred to me. It is the scriptures. It is the message of the New Testament. And that is my point. Well, there's a distinction between the two. You're asking me and so on. He's made, yes. John has a Bible. He has Bibles and commentaries and stuff like that.
Will you actually escort him down?
No. At that time. And that's where I will be.
At what time did you say his last rites would be given?
Between 8 and 8:30. Sometime 8 and 8:30, 8:45.
We're still on schedule with the countdown. We have not had any stays whatsoever. And as I promised you this morning, what I'll do is go over please feel free to ask them. At 11 o'clock, we'll begin with the shaving of John Lewis Evans' head. He'll be given a shower for corrections, but he has requested to wear prison clothes. So that's what he'll be wearing tonight. At 11:35, the warden and I will go to the execution chamber. He'll be strapped down with our special team members, with the exception of the headgear and the electrodes. At that time, the warrant will be read to him by the warden, which takes approximately 3 minutes, 10 seconds. We've given him 2 minutes to make any last statement that he would like to make. This will not be recorded whatsoever because the man has requested that this not be released. It will be made simply to the warden and the team members. From then, the witnesses will come in. The warden will come to me in the witness chamber and ask me, have there been any stays? And if there have not been any stays, we have 8 special team members that will be helping the warden in this procedure. They've gone over the procedure this week a little over a dozen times. When the warden asked me, have there been any stays whatsoever, at that time, if there have not been any stays, then the mask will be placed on.
How many volts and amps does your machine generate?
It's 1900 volts. It takes some 30 seconds.
Is it possible that it might have to be done again?
No, we're very confident, and we've tested it out, and we don't see any problems whatsoever.
Will the warden throw this?
We don't.
Let's say something did go wrong. Mr. Evans was not killed by the first 30 seconds of electric shock. What happens then? Is there a backup system?
Yes, we do have a backup system.
What happens with it?
Well, we have our own generator, and we have the Alabama Power Company.
But if the first voltage that passed through does not kill him, what happens then?
First of all, 1900 volts it will kill him. Well, we would, if for some reason the generator malfunctioned, we would go to the alternate.
There are provisions in the law for doing it again, giving it a second try, though, aren't there?
Most definitely.
Frankly, not particularly at all, other than, of course, I expect it will be the same as last time. In fact, I was told yesterday by someone from the Birmingham Post-Herald that the motel out there on the Best Western is already full of press and media people. And people here
Come back around. What I'm saying is.
Yeah, except just for the little cut off 21. What happened to council? I don't know.
Mr. Tate, what is a chronology of John Lewis Evans' night and today, and what is his mental state?
Okay. Last night, his visitors left about 9:15. Then he talked with the deputy warden for a little over an hour, and the deputy warden noticed at that time a change in the inmate. Up to that point, he'd been very cool, as in like ice water in his veins, but he appeared to be human last night. It appeared that the pressure is finally getting to him. He began to fidget. In fact, when he was reading a newspaper, he would just laugh at something that seemingly was not all that funny in the newspaper. He went to bed, went to sleep about 2 o'clock after talking with some officers outside of his cell. He woke up about 4:30, had breakfast, went back to sleep, and got up a little bit later and had a visitor. And he also had time this morning to speak with the warden and order his final meal, which will be served to him about 4 o'clock this afternoon. And it will consist of steak, shrimp, French fries, rolls, a piece of pie, or chocolate cake. And then all of his visitors have to be out by 8:30, except the chaplain of Holman, Martin Weber. He can be with him up till the time he really goes to the electric chair tonight. At 11 o'clock, of course, his head will be shaved and will change out of the white prison uniform into his green suit. And then about 11:45, he will walk the final 25 feet down to the execution chamber and be strapped in. And then if we have no word from the Supreme Court or Governor Wallace at midnight, then the execution will be carried out.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. I hadn't had a lot of people, to raise hell. Of course, yesterday wasn't all that much. We only had about 36, 30.
Ms. Johnston, did you talk to John Lewis Evans this morning? What did he say to you? How was he feeling?
Yeah, I did see John just an hour ago, and he said he woke up this morning feeling really positive about what was going to happen today. He does not want to die, but he feels hopeful that there will be a stay today. He asked me to tell everybody who has helped, by sending telegrams to the governor, that how much he really appreciates the support that his friends and supporters have meant to him, and that has made a big difference in his life. He said emotionally it's a little harder this time than it was last time because he does not want to die. But he feels hopeful that this day will come.
Do you have any idea why he's had a change of heart about from the last time? Last time he said he wanted to go.
I think he feels sure about a purpose for his life.
Has he changed his mind since he talked? His soundtrack, and of course there'll be a log included with it.
You know where he is right now, don't you? Okay.
This is it. All that. Alright. There it is, that third one.
The execution of John Evans was a barbaric ritual that has no place in a compassionate and civilized society. The sanctity of life has been demeaned by this senseless execution. I had resolved to remain quiet and keep tonight's execution to myself. However, the horror of what I saw makes me speak out here tonight. John Evans was burned alive tonight by the state of Alabama. 3 separate times the state tried to kill him by burning him alive. After the second time, I asked the commissioner to communicate immediately to the governor of Alabama that I requested clemency again on behalf of John Evans, in that the process of execution was cruel and unusual punishment, in that the process of execution was torture. For in fact, John Evans was tortured tonight in the name of vengeance, in the disguise of justice. The family of John Evans, as well as John himself.
The switch has just been thrown. 8:30 on the dot. The switch is off. The warden is walking down the hallway. The doctors are now entering the execution chamber. John Evans has not been pronounced dead yet. Apparently, the first charge did not kill him.
Amount of current was placed through Mr. Evans's body. Simply, the doctors at the second time said that they thought they wanted one more electrode and loose.
Completely enough then?
It most definitely had been tested completely.
Was that something that could have been foreseen?
No, it was not anything whatsoever.
Slightly. Birmingham, we did smell what appeared to be small leather.
The execution of John Lewis Evans has now been carried out. I'll go over with you the time frame of the execution. As I informed you earlier, at 8:30 sharp, the 31st 30 seconds of the current was placed through his body. The doctors came in and examined Mr. Evans and said that he was not dead. This was due to the strap on the left leg completely blowing apart. It was strapped back on with the strap that is supposed to hold the leg to the chair. At 8:33, the second charge was applied to Mr. Evans, and this was at the doctors examined him. They simply asked, on the doctor's request, to do it one more time so that both of them could be exactly sure that he was dead. At 8:40, the third 30-second bolt was placed through Mr. Evans's body. At 8:44, he was pronounced dead by the two physicians at the institution. At the beginning of the third 30-second round of current, Russ Cannon the attorney requested that I speak to the governor's office and ask for clemency. I did this. The governor said that he would not grant clemency at this time. And at the end of the third one, he was pronounced dead at 8:44.
Commissioner Smith, you tested the electric chair, as I understand it, every day this week.
That's true.
You were confident this was going to work smoothly. It didn't work smoothly. Do you know why it didn't? Why the first charge did not kill John Lewis Evans?
I definitely do. As I've already said, the electrical current did, in fact, burn and blow the strap with the electrode loose.
Was it not tested completely enough then?
No, it was not anything whatsoever that could have been foreseen.
Why didn't it work the second time?
I have no idea. The amount of current was placed through Mr. Evans's body. Simply, the doctors at the second time said that they thought they wanted one more time just so that they could be completely sure.
Was Evans conscious after the first time?
I'm sorry.
Was Evans conscious after the first charge?
I do not know that.
Was there any sign of life after the first time? Any sign of life after the first time?
Are you asking from my view?
Yes, sir.
No, there was not.
But from the doctor's view?
Do you know anything about what sounded like?
The warrant reads until the convicted person is pronounced.
Did he ask for a sedative? Was he given one prior to going in?
Not to my knowledge whatsoever.
We're told that
As a minister of the Christian gospel, which I happen to be, there's no doubt in my mind that John Evans has experienced a genuine religious conversion experience based on the real difficult situation we were in 19.
Education and go to law school. He realizes that he will be in prison the whole time that he does that, but he feels like even in prison he can contribute something to help others.
Has he indicated he may change his mind and make a public statement?
No, he's not going to do that this time.
I don't think
that was for a 6-pack of beer.
He did finally ask for that.
Yes, he did.
There's no scientific evidence to promote this. The only thing we have are people like Mr. Graddick who are self-serving politicians going out and foisting this notion. There's absolutely no evidence to support it. And yes, the public has gotten harder on the death penalty, and that's the reason. And maybe we on our side haven't done as good a job as getting the message out on what the death penalty really is. But the facts are, we have 1,150 people on death row, almost 50% of them are black, and we're talking about a slaughter here in the near future if the individual people out here in this state and other states don't come to their senses. We wish.
And they can go up to midnight, correct, before they issue?
If worse comes to worse.
Okay, so where does that leave you if you don't hear anything by, say, 11:30? How can you file with the lower?
That's one of the reasons we set up a meeting with Governor Wallace. We're asking the governor to commute this sentence since the courts are holding it so long.
At what point will you be where you can no longer file an appeal with the lower federal court?
When he's dead.
So you can go all the way up to midnight. Can you also file in any lower state court?
No, we've ruled that out. The next appellate route would be.
Commissioner Smith, where is John Lewis Evans presently?
Presently, he's in the holding cell, which is 15 feet from the electric chair.
What is the mental state of this inmate, the condemned man? what kind of a night did he have?
Last night, when I last reported, he was laughing and joking with the guards, and I was told this morning he had a restful night, slept well. And then when he was told this morning that the Attorney General had gone to the Supreme Court to see if we could get the 11th Circuit overruled, he was quite surprised at that.
What will happen in terms of the official prison timetable if the Supreme Court says we overrule the other judges and that the death sentence should stand? What is your timetable?
The same procedure that I outlined to you yesterday afternoon, and that is it would take exactly 1 hour to prepare him for the elected chair. So that is, maybe we could do it even faster. Say it comes down around between 11 or 11:15 tonight. We could still carry out the execution. He has already had his last meal. The last rites have already been administered also.
What is the legal timetable in terms of this 22nd day of April? When will it be illegal to execute John Lewis Evans?
Anytime after 11:59 tonight.
You can't, anytime after 11:59 tonight, you say, is illegal?
Illegal. That's correct. That would have to be a new date set.
You have any feelings or any information about the mood of the other inmates on death row?
Well, you know, we're certainly watching that from the very beginning. We've made some changes as far as our security and so forth, just in the event that something did happen. However, it's been very calm, and it seems that the other inmates take the attitude that this is his particular case and it really doesn't pertain to them. We have had no problems whatsoever. We think we could go through the shaving of the head and so forth in that length of time.
But after 11:15?
After 11:15, it'd be cutting it real close.
We would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll go ahead and attempt it.
Okay.
We don't have the indefinite.
Well, they're going to be hard for them to go ahead and start doing all that stuff.
Yeah, but it'll
Over.
Leave all those things here.
Curious about no metallic objects. If you have metallic objects on you, get them off, or you're going to be subject to a strip search, which is going to slow everything down, or we're going to send you back out to the bus where you'll remain until it's over. That's if we go over.
If y'all would, when I ask Johnson, come around this way.